Let the games begin.
Some think there's nothing beyond what is known.
Start.
But
Geralt of
I
Rivia?
came from nothing.
Tezzeret, right.
I took the opportunity to forge my own destiny. I will make the stars tell me their secrets and bring these planets to their knees when I know everything. All the power in creation will be within my grasp.
Okay, Tezzeret. Emo much?
It's swirling with color. It's full of battling spaceships. It's star nebula far, far away. It's a beautiful place.
Rachel.
To me, I mean, like, as a human being, space is the final frontier, and as a magic designer, space has always also been the final frontier because we've never done anything before like this.
It's not like a small place we haven't been before. It's really huge and so unknown.
The Edge of Eternities is really at the edge of the multiverse.
The way that our amazing world-building team has explained this to me is if you imagine the multiverse like an orange, the edge is the rind. So it's this thin layer on the very outside of the blind eternities.
And it's a little peek into a part of Magic's lore that has kind of been known for a long time, but also has been very unknown, this blind eternity space.
We weren't bound by any of the normal restrictions that we often have when we're returning to an old Magic plane that has a specific mechanical identity. Here, it's like, we're going to space. We've never been to space before. There is infinity exciting stuff to do here.
It's not just that anything can be out there. It's kind of that everything is.
We're in uncharted territory. We are expanding what anyone can imagine that Magic the game can be, that Magic the worlds can be.
Whenever Magic goes to a new kind of setting, there's this enormous untapped well of concepts that we've never done before that we get to do for the first time.
What it means to have planets, what it means to have ships, and kind of creating those things in the language of Magic.
So there is a storyline happening while a lot of stuff is also happening in the background. So the main storyline follows Sammy and their crew of misfits.
And the whole system here is revolving around a void called Sothera.
There is a faction of monks who worship this black hole and are trying to feed it and eventually have it consume the entire universe.
The super void at the center, as well as 5 planets. And each of those 5 planets are aligned to a different color of mana in Magic. And all of those 5 planets sort of express their identity through what that color is about.
And that's something that we really wanted to do with Edge of Eternities, was to really get the sense of this large scale, like space opera. We wanted it to feel vast.
We get to tap into
permanent.
our vision of outer space, right? Like physics doesn't apply to Magic.
Planets don't necessarily have to be round.
No,
You
Zach's
have
Stella.
planets here that have like turned into like corkscrew shapes, or some of them have like holes through the center of them, or blasted into bits, but they're still keeping their shape and orbit.
In a science fantasy set like this, scale is such an important thing.
Space is big, so we kind of let loose with the numbers a little bit, found ways to get double-digit numbers onto cards.
Maybe even bigger than Emrakul the Aeon's Torn, but I'm not going to spoil that yet.
Even when we go to a new place, we want to connect to Magic.
We decided to put a lot of lands in this set to really give players a chance to like have the full experience on the table in their battlefield with this new setting.
I was really excited when I started to work on the set to see that Tezzeret, our old friend, the evil artificer, was in the file. It's such a perfect setting for him.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure
Tezzeret's
how
here.
it's done.
Tezzeret got a little bit of a facelift. He's looking pretty badass.
Another great way that we connect Magic and the Edge of Eternities is through creature types, right? Kavu are returning, for fans of Kavu out there. Slivers, of course. I know there's so many fans of Slivers, Eldrazi. You see these creatures that you've seen on Dominaria and the other planes of Magic, but now we've brought them to the Edge of Eternities.
One of my favorite cards in Magic is Tarmogoyf. Now that I was working on the space set, I could live my reality of Tarmogoyf, space, Cosmogoyf.
And that just, really captures the feel of, hey, we are in outer space
Cards in
now.
Exile.
All right, what is, outer
That's
space
interesting.
version of a Lurgoyf?
So from the onset of trying to design Edge of Eternities, I always knew that I wanted the large common flyer to be a space whale. They're in so many different kinds of media, and I always find it so silly, it's so awesome at the same time.
Look, it's a flying whale. That's really cool.
There are so many named characters and so many named factions and so many different kinds of ships and different kinds of planets, and it really gives you this sense that you're living in a universe that is more massive than you could have ever imagined.
Like, I've not seen any of these yet.
So excited.
Yeah, it'll be awesome.
I love the way the space dragons turned out.
Yeah, space dragons with weird multiple eyes.
Alert, Cosmogoy. Recommended action, run. Well, you just need to open some more packs.
I'm working on it. I'm going slow. I'm savoring it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As someone on the world building team, it's always really exciting to be able to bridge that gap between the world building we've done and the mechanics we see on the card.
When you're saying, hey, we're doing an outer space world, like, of course you're gonna have planets. Of course you're gonna have spacecraft. It's science fantasy at its heart and bringing that to life.
So to me, space is about exploration and being an optimist about what I could see. It's also about the vast amount of distances required to travel it. The scale, the size, look how big these things are, while also having the harsh reality of space being extremely unforgiving, and it's dangerous. And we have 4 mechanics in the set that each reflect one of those things.
So station is our mechanic that is kind of representing the huge objects in space.
There are 2 new subtypes in Edge of Eternities. There's spacecraft and planet. And at certain thresholds, that permanent will do special things. If it's a spacecraft, it'll be a big creature, and if it's a planet, it'll unlock an awesome ability.
The mechanic works similar to kind of vehicles or mounts where you are paying in your creature's power at sorcery speed to kind of turn them on. But unlike those, you
Hello,
are
Jenny VC.
gathering
Welcome to
counters
the
over
stream.
time until you reach a threshold and unlock the abilities on the card.
Here's a big, splashy new mechanic that gives you a sense of enormous scale.
You put all this effort into it, but now that power is at your disposal is a really fun feeling.
Of course, with land being such an instrumental part of a fun game, we
Doing
wanted
well, you?
something to capture, once again, this feeling of discovery, right?
Lands are representing the exploration of new places, which is really core to the genre, and artifacts are representing technology, and the lander is really the marriage of those two
Well, we're
things.
just watching
Lander is a
the
new token
Magic
that
the
we're
Gathering Edge of
introducing. All you have to do
Eternities
is pay 2
live
mana and
stream.
sacrifice it, and then you
Getting
search
to
your
see all the
library
new
for any
cards.
basic land and put it onto the battlefield tapped.
Is kind of similar to other token mechanics that we've done,
figure
like
out
clues
how
or
to
treasures.
send it
In the
correctly.
set, it ties into landfall as a returning mechanic, and letting you make multiple land drops and really
Naomi,
playing with that
thank
theme
you for the
of
follow.
discovery and exploring new stuff.
And then we have the warp mechanic to really evoke how far people have to travel in space at light speed. They show up, they're gone.
Warp is a mechanic that allows you to play
There we
the
go.
card from your hand for its warp cost, and then you get it temporarily. You have it for this turn only. At the end of turn, it leaves, goes, hangs out in exile, and then you can pay the full retail version later on. It's kind of a variant on adventure or similar mechanics like that, except here you are playing the same thing twice.
And so it warps in, those will have enter effects, which are typically good, and then it warps out for you to cast it later. And then that combos so well with Void because Void is a very straightforward mechanic that says, hey, when things leave, I give you a reward.
So Void is a mechanic that cares about things leaving the battlefield, or if you have warped
That's
a card
a
this turn.
premium
It checks
rule
both of
spell
those
that
things,
can
and it's
be
just a
replaced
pretty
with a
clean
touchdown.
upgrade if you manage to make your stuff leave the battlefield before you play these cards.
Really powerful, really straightforward, makes for some really fun combos. This is the Edge of Eternities. This is what Magic means when it's in outer space.
All right, here we go.
Some sort of
The
art
ship,
altar
the
frame there.
Sarima.
You got the Sarima?
I did it.
It's a rad looking ship.
Did you find when you work with artists on this set that they were like super psyched for it,
Oh, yes.
right? Because they hadn't been able to paint these things for
Yeah.
Magic?
Like way more than usual. We had people reaching out and being like, I want to be on the space set.
Yeah.
A lot of our artist pool doesn't normally get to work on space. Spaceships, planets, things that are large in scope.
You know, reaching out to them and saying like, hey, I have an assignment. And there was like rumors that the artists always kind of talk to each other. So they were like kind of waiting for it. And they were like, yes, it's finally here.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had as large a number of the artist pool as excited to work on a particular plane or setting as this one.
The booster fun is just so incredible. The colors that it brings to Magic.
The lands just hit differently here. I think like there's something about the vertical format that we don't normally get with a regular Magic set, because here space goes in all directions. So like it plays well to that vertical card art.
There's so many like beautiful space vistas where like you just see the curve of the planet on the card, and then you can see like ships fighting in front of it.
There's little spaceships zooming through, and the team really knocked it out of the park, just bringing lands to life. Whoa, breeding pool!
That's exciting.
That is so beautiful. We brought in the Shocklands, which brings them into standard. Super exciting for that reason.
The borderless viewport lands were this moment of you've just landed on a new planet and you're still on your spaceship and the door is opening, the ramp is descending. So we kind of incorporated the interior of the ship as the frame. But then the art is just this like window, and who's kind of framed and looking out the window becomes exciting. Just a lot of really good storytelling opportunities.
So we have a cycle of returning lands here, and I sort of pulled some little nuggets that I was seeing and turned it into a consistent chronicle across them that basically just explores moons. Flavor text is a really fascinating storytelling tool. It gives you those little windows into the world. I like the idea that it was a peek into a grander universe.
The flavor text really gives you this sense of a world that is enormously expansive.
When you crack open a pack, you can kind of land anywhere in the midst of what's going on.
Check it out. I got Celestial Colonnade.
Ooh.
Right? Wow. Yeah, Borderless Stellar Sights card. I love the font that the title's in. It really captures that outer space vibe.
Yeah. Borderless Stellar Sights, what we really wanted to do was we wanted to reduce the footprint of the frame on the cards. We did that by taking the title down into the bottom half of the card. And then along the sides with the frame, it's kind of like a star chart, giving you that explorative feeling to it.
You get all these like cool, crazy planetary shapes and asteroids and spaceships and things that frame showcases very well. And the borderless poster stellar sights are probably one of my favorite treatments we've ever done.
The roots of this art style are these like travel posters that kind of came out of the 1930s.
It's just this really interesting juxtaposition of a kind of anachronistic and nostalgic travel poster style with the super new and novel and futuristic science fantasy setting. That combination is a little bit dissonant, but in a way that's really interesting and cool and looks really new.
The borderless surreal space treatment definitely hits a lot of that classic Magic vibe.
Honestly, that's my favorite thing I've worked on at Magic ever. The art influences behind it, we dipped really heavily into kind of 1970s science fiction art. They're so like surreal and ethereal.
And especially in like such a bright palette that we have here across all the like galactic clouds and whatnot, it was just vibing with a lot of people in a way that I haven't seen before.
The Borderless Triumphant cards were kind of a labor of love and a really fun idea we had. It's where someone is exploring space and they're like looking out, and then they're framed by basically a circle, which could be a moon or a planet. And so each piece has a very similar composition.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, man.
You guys, it's one of the Borderless Triumphants.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is a lobster chef. So see, he's tossing his little mushrooms.
Listen, I am very familiar with the lobster chef.
Because didn't you paint one for the main set?
I did. My favorite element of this painting is he's got an extra pair of hands, so he's able to hold this sprig of thyme just like very daintily.
And I like the idea of him serving up nuts and bolts style like food.
There's a jello that's got like a whole rusty gear stuck in the top.
Having just little bits of levity like that here and there, I think can be very good for a set. You don't want it to be too one note. Lobster guy making gross food, like, Zach, way to go.
Now it's my turn to open.
Okay.
I'm excited. Check it out. Right? Amazing Sliver Overlord.
Stealing that from you in the parking garage.
I'll tell you a secret about the Borderless special guest cards. I would have made the whole set look like that if there weren't smarter people around me to like calm me down a little bit. But that pulp cover style, the idea of people in the 1950s, what they thought the future was going to look like, because really like the influence of the creature design at that time was monster movies. People in suits like waving their arms around really awkwardly. And so like the creatures are just like goofy and funny, and you know, all of the fun typography. That series is just one of my favorite things. For the Japanese Showcase Fracture Foil, it was a really exciting opportunity to highlight the art, the more kind of like anime flavored art style that we use on those cards, and the fracture foil is perfect for that because it's sort of really dynamic and really highlights the movement and the big monsters and all the excitement that's going on in those cards.
It's just so bold to see it in a pack. Like, you're immediately going to stop on that one when you open a pack of them.
And Galaxy Foil is back for this set. It was kind of a no-brainer. Again, we knew from the beginning, you know, it's such a fun effect. It's such a beautiful substrate. Wow. And if we're in space and we can have the art have stars and then the substrate have stars, like, it's just such a fun, perfect moment.
I have never seen it look better, and fans are absolutely going to go nuts for it.
So can I just show this one off, just because the lands turned out so good in foil.
When they catch the light.
Yeah.
Another Galaxy
Look
Foil.
at that.
Right?
Wow.
Galaxy Foil Swamp.
Thank you very much.
Right? These look so good.
Yeah.
To achieve the magic look in the art, really, like, the way we do that is we work with really incredibly skilled professional artists. So many of them are fans, so many of them are passionate. It blows my mind how many of them there are. It seems impossible to me that so many talented people could work for this game. Kieran, how long have you been painting for Magic?
For Magic, I think since 2005, around then.
So you did concepting for Edge of Eternities, right?
Yes, a lot of the key art
I haven't gotten the
characters
email
and then
yet, but I do have the
weapons
requirement
and stuff
meeting.
like that. So I love fantasy, science fiction, space opera. That was really exciting to work on. And
Kieran has something to show you.
oh yeah,
Are you excited?
a little bit.
Look, it's your cards from the set.
That's cool.
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, your work is so polished and incredible.
I always love giving you glowy stuff. Just the way you manage the colors around the glows.
Oh, cool.
Especially for this set, just all these
Yeah.
like purples and blues that are blending.
Yeah, warms versus cools, darks versus lights. Try to have the silhouette kind of standing out, not getting lost.
Let's get into it with this.
Alpha Real.
I think this effect that you have here.
I really love water and organic materials. There's just a lot of play that you can do. So you can kind of really get into kind of noodle heaven, I guess. Being able to sort of undulate through colors and...
Yeah, this is like the perfect set for you too. Because like
Yeah.
the space kind of acts like a liquid too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it really does. Sammy. Yeah. Getting to work on Sammy was awesome. Similar to Alpha Real, kind of wanted their expression to be, you know, pensive, almost troubled, I guess, in a way. Like,
Yeah, sure. It's so exciting to see 3 brand new characters from Magic.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, you do a lot of character work for us, but I gotta say, you totally nailed these.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Endstone.
The Endstone.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
Wow.
That's killer. That's an oil painting.
That looks useful.
And once you have it out, you're going to win the
Foil
game.
is in it. Oh, those are collections.
Sure hope so.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Something that Andrew Brown, who is the lead designer of the set, often says is that our sets are way better when we have fun making them. And I really believe that to be true.
I see it every day how much passion all my coworkers pour into this. We love Magic so much. Most of us got here because we love Magic.
Edge of Eternities is magic in space. It's like all the things you want from Magic, but you're on a spaceship and there's an alien chasing you, and maybe there's an alien in your co-pilot seat and he's your best friend.
You know, that vibrancy, that richness of when you see something, you pick up a card and you're like, whoa. Right. That moment, to me, that makes it all worthwhile.
It's going to feel like they're traveling really far away, but it's going to feel like home for them at the same time.
I hope fans are excited to see it. I really do.
The promise of space means so many different things to so many different people, and it's new places, it's new things, it's new people, it's new planets.
And so I hope that that feeling of expansiveness and the care and creativity that was put into crafting the scale of the setting really comes across. And I hope that the Edge is a place that fans love to visit for the first time, and also that our first visit sort of piques their interest to see more, because we've built this environment in such a way that there's so much more to discover.
Okay. Thank you, Lo. Welcome to the stream. All right. Cool. Oh.
Welcome back from the Edge of Eternity's debut to the debut after show. We are here to dive deeper into all things Edge of Eternity, so thanks for tuning in for the debut. We're going to spend the next hour-ish talking about a lot of what you've just seen, as well as revealing some new cards and learning a lot about mechanics and abilities, where they came from, how they were designed, all of that sort of jazz. To do that, we have three fantastic guests with us today. Gentlemen, why don't you introduce yourselves, say a little bit about what you did
my team
for
just
Edge
hasn't
of
gotten
Eternities.
around to
We'll start here.
polishing them yet.
Hello,
They're definitely
I'm
in the
Andrew
works.
Brown. I was the set lead on Edge of Eternities, and that's about it. Yeah,
That's the important part. Yeah.
I'm Ethan Fleischer. I led the vision design team for Edge of Eternities.
Hi, I'm Mike Turian. I'm executive producer for Magic, and I did the product design for Edge of Eternities.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about all of those topics. We're going to launch right into this, pun somewhat intended, where we're going to talk through each of the mechanics. We're going to show off some cards you may have already seen, you may not have already seen, and go from there. So let's begin with kind of one of the, we'll call it one of the workhorse mechanics of the set, which is Lander. So this is a new token that we can create. Tell us a little bit about Lander and where it came from.
Landers are artifact tokens that represent
My team hasn't gotten
little landing
around
shuttles.
to
Very
making
often in
the
a
overlays
science
yet,
fiction
but they are
setting,
in the
people
works.
go down the shuttle and check out the planet, find out what's going on the planet. We wanted this set to be big, and one way to go big in a Magic game is to have lots of mana available so you can cast expensive spells with big splashy effects. And so the Lander tokens allow you to ramp to get more mana.
Well, let's see our first preview card here, which is Siege Ship Impact. So this is 1 and a green for an instant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Pretty straightforward, but then if its mana value was 2 or less, create a Lander token. So then you see that text in there for the Lander token. It's an artifact with 2 tap. Sacrifice this token, search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tap, then shuffle. So this sort of land searching, I mean, we see it on a green card here. Is this a specific sort of green ramp ability? Are we seeing this in all colors? Where does Lander show up?
Landers are on all 5 colors, and so and it sort of evolved a bit as we continued iterating on the design of the set. The initial version of Lander tokens were double-faced tokens, like we saw in Mars the Machine, where they were an artifact on one side. You could pay 2 mana to transform them, and they were an artifact land on the other side.
Not sure why.
That could tap for any
I had my
color in
mic
any of
turned
your
off, so I
lands
don't know where it's getting audio from.
But Andrew, why don't you tell us where things went from there?
Yeah, so after the flip tokens, we took out DFCs from the set, and then we kind of had this infrastructure for the Landers still in there, so we had to figure out how we wanted to change them to kind of fit with the rest of the set. So we went to the sacrifice version to get a basic land from your deck onto the battlefield tapped. We also liked that version better because it also fixed your mana instead of just kind of putting you in the same situation that we had with the Reflecting Pool-esque line of text there.
Now, obviously, we've only started talking about the texture of the set, but they presumably just watched the debut video. So where, Lander, this sort of token, we've seen it before with glue, with food. It's sort of a glue mechanic that holds a lot of things in the set together. Right. So how does this token matter for other things in the set?
Yeah, so the token matters a ton in the set infrastructure. So, for example, the black-red theme is sacrificing creatures or artifacts. Landers are a great thing to sacrifice if you have too much mana and you have a loose token around. It also really works super well with the Void mechanic that we'll see later on. And it also helps with the Warp mechanic, as Ethan was saying, in a set where you want to have a lot of mana. With Warp, you want to have a lot of mana to cast the second side of your cards. So Landers kind of work with all of the mechanics and kind of tie in and make the gameplay mesh.
Now, we do have a second Lander card to show off, which has a little bit of a twist on creating them. So this is Emergency Eject. 2 and a white instant, destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a Lander token. Okay. Are we going to see a lot of giving your opponents a Lander token? Is this sort of just a one-of deal?
Yeah, I think this is really actually the only card that gives your opponent a Lander token. But like Ethan was saying, landers show up in all colors, and this is a very white way to create a lander token. So white removal generally always is about attackers or blockers, or if it's more unconditional like this, it will give the opponent a cookie, like with Swords to Plowshares.
Yes, yeah, it's a classic shape of a white removal spell.
Yeah.
All right, and then we've got the lander tokens we can show as well. So there are 5 of them that you can pull from booster packs. They're going to look a little something like this.
Yeah, so you can see each of the 5 major civilizations from the Sothera system are represented on these lander tokens, and they're all color aligned.
All right.
It'll work well, right? Because you go and sacrifice it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go get an island?
Interesting.
Okay, I got to remind myself of that.
Not much to say about
All right,
since we've
now
already
let's
seen
move
them many
on
times.
to a slightly bigger mechanic. So this is Station, one of the more exciting new additions from this set. Tell us about Station.
One of the most important ideas that we wanted to get across with Edge of Eternities is the concept of scale. We wanted this to be the biggest Magic set ever, or at least the biggest since Rise of the Eldrazi. If we could manage that, we'd be in good shape. And one of the things that space operas often have are gigantic spaceships, just huge ships, vast planets.
I feel like these will still continue the trend of vehicles where
the
it's just
scale is so much
they
larger
sit for
than
too
anything
long
they've
and do nothing.
experienced in their life. So we made these spacecraft with a brand new mechanic called Station, where you can tap your creatures to put charge counters on them equal to their power, and then they have a threshold at which they get powered up, become more powerful. So most of them have some effect immediately. So the Sarima here, searches for a legendary creature card, but then once you get 7 charge counters on it, it becomes a huge spaceship that can battle your opponent. And then some of them have more than one of these nodes where abilities are unlocked. We'll get to see some bigger Station cards later.
Well, I mean, we can make that later now. We can throw up. So our next one is actually, I believe, from the Commander product. So when we, right? Nope, never mind. Wrong one. Let's show Infinite Guideline Station, not from the Commander product. We'll get to those in a moment. So this is Infinite Guideline Station. And also doesn't, I'm completely off book here. So this one does not have 2 different things, but talk a little bit about Infinite Guideline Station before we get to the ones with 2 levels.
Right, this is the base of the Pinnacle organization, if I'm not mistaken, who are sort of the government that is trying to keep the peace between everybody and keep things going smoothly, whereas all of the other monocolor aligned factions are all competing with each other and have their own agendas. Pinnacle is kind of like, can't we all just get along here? So it's a rainbow color.
Interesting for Commander.
What?
Because it's an
so
ETB
we'll get to those
trigger.
Commander ones in a second.
So
this is a new card subtype. What were some of the challenges in designing these stations?
The main challenge with designing Station is mainly around the tempo of the game. So normally when you play an artifact like this one that just costs 5 mana, it's a pretty big tempo loss. And with Station you do have to have creatures and charge them up. So a lot of the things we did were mitigate that tempo loss here. So for example, on Infinite Guideline Station, you'll get a lot of robots if you have a lot of multicolored creatures. And as you'll see more of these cards come out, you'll also see more of them may interact with the board. They may accrue you resources immediately to kind of mitigate that immediate loss of tempo of just playing a big expensive thing that just sits around for a little bit.
Okay. And, so far we've seen some rare stations, big splashy effects. Are there lower rarity stations that we're going to see?
Yes, we're going to see a lot of lower rarity station cards. They are a pretty key integral part to Limited. A lot of the infrastructure around that is kind of made to make Station shine. One thing that I'll like to call out once we see the warp mechanic is how well those 2 mechanics really synergize together.
That makes sense. All right, now let's see the commander face card. So when we revealed the commander decks some time ago, we revealed sort of the secondary commanders, but the face commanders are actually spacecraft for these decks. So here we have Hearthole, the World Seed, and as Ethan was saying, this one has multiple levels. So talk a little bit about the multiple levels.
Yeah, so the first level here gets unlocked when you have 2 or more charge counters on it. So pretty quickly you can get to the point where you're sacking lands to draw cards, and then eventually you'll have time to get to that 8+, which is when it becomes, a win condition, a giant flying artifact creature. You'll notice it doesn't say this can be your commander on here. The commander rules have been changed to allow these spacecraft to be your commander, so we no longer have to write on there. As you can see, there's a lot of words on this card already, so not a lot of room for anything else.
Yeah, and when it levels up, this is like previous sort of leveling cards. It keeps the previous abilities, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and it actually even turns into a creature when it hits that 8+, right? So for the ones that have 2 levels, you'll see a power toughness earlier if it wakes up as a smaller version.
Yeah, I don't think there are any that do that, but we could have done it.
Yeah,
maybe it was just a playtesting we did.
There are no stations that turn onto a creature before their final level. While we were developing it, we noticed that you have to put a dice on it to track it, and then sometimes that can be a little difficult. So one of the things we discovered internally is if we just make the final level always the creature, you can just take the dice off and then understand that this is a creature the whole time.
Makes sense. All right, let's see the second commander face card from Counterintelligence. There it is, In-Spirit Flagship Vessel. So blue, red, and white. Excuse me. For a legendary artifact spacecraft. Tell us about this one.
Well, I mean, the name of the deck is a pun, and this is all about counters. It's all about charge counters specifically. There's all kinds of different ways to make and use charge counters in this deck, which is very, very cool and exciting theme that we haven't really done before in a Commander pre-constructed deck. So.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about Station while we were developing is we were debating on what counter to use. And we ultimately ended up on charge counter because it was flavorful in terms of, you build up your station, you charge it up, and also there was a lot of previous Magic infrastructure around charge counters, so you can take all of your Mirrodin cards that add charge counters and put them onto your spaceships.
Yeah, and it's additionally nice, right? So Station itself is a sorcery, but if you do happen to get an extra charge counter on at instant speed, all of a sudden, right. You've turned your spacecraft on, and it's a nice surprise for your opponent.
Nice surprise. Okay, let's move on to our next mechanic, which we've referenced a few times, Warp. So let's take a look at Warp. What's Warp?
Warp represents the ability of traveling faster than light, which is a staple of the space opera genre. You've got to be able to get to other planets, and you don't have several years to do it, so you've got to cheat on relativity. So yeah, we made this mechanic to represent that, and it allows you to cast the creature for a lower cost, but the creature will go into exile at the end of the turn. And then you can cast it again from exile for full price later. So, and many of these either have haste or have enters the battlefield triggers or leaves the battlefield triggers, so that you kind of generate some value along the way, which I'm sure you appreciate that.
Of course. Well, it is very reminiscent of Evoke as well, but I do, I love the flavor of it, like you said, cheating, like beating relativity, and But how, did you all start with the idea that you wanted to represent faster than light travel as a mechanic? Did you start with this mechanic? How did this one come to be?
This was more of a top-down. And it's like, okay, we know we're going to be going faster than light. We're going to have to go into hyperspace, right? Mm-hmm. And what does hyperspace mean in Magic? We have all these different zones, and any one of them could be it. But it seemed like the Exile Zone was sort of the most outer spacey kind of extra-dimensional place, traditionally speaking, for Magic. So that was where we ended up pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right, let's see our first card in Warp, which is Weft Stalker Ardent. 2 and a red for a Drix Artificer. 2/3. Whenever another creature or artifact you control enters, this creature deals 1 damage to each opponent, and the warp is red. So talk about the shape of, is the warp cost always less than the casting cost, or what sort of abilities did you put on these? What are we hoping to see here?
So a lot of the time with warp, not every single time, the warp costs will be cheaper than the casting costs of the actual creature. And like Ethan was saying, you'll generally have a enters the battlefield effect, maybe haste, or a lot of the time you'll have a more enchantment-like ability on this card right here.
Okay.
Right, so this one doesn't generate any value itself. You need to combine it with some other cards.
And like I was saying earlier with the station mechanic, where it requires you to have creatures, the warp and the station mechanic really interact very favorably, as you can get a more expensive or higher power creature for cheap. So when you have a station out, you can warp your creature. It can have its enters effect. It can have its enchantment effect. But then you can also tap it to put charge counters on your station. So it kind of works well together.
Yeah, because you don't need haste for using station.
That's correct.
Right. Although if the creature itself has haste, then it can attack. Otherwise, right, it's just waiting around. So tapping it's the perfect use.
All right, let's see our next card with Warp.
You can see this is a Drix. This is a new species that we're encountering for the first time. These are an alien species that have the natural ability to warp themselves. Everyone else has to use spaceships, but the Drix can do it biologically somehow.
Very cool. All right, let's see our next preview card, which is Timeline Color, another card with Warp. This one has a slightly different warp cost.
Yeah, so when we were thinking about, once we had the exact mechanics for warp, you kind of go to level 2, where it's like, what are the cool ways to use this ability? And one of my favorite old cards is Gravecrawler. So this is kind of a mix of putting that card's mechanics with warp, so you can warp this card from your graveyard at the cost of an extra 2 life.
You don't even need to control a zombie.
Pretty good in mono
You
black
don't even need
aggro.
a zombie, nope.
All right, next up we have Eusocial Engineering. So this is an enchantment with warp.
Right. So enchantments naturally make for great warp cards, as they're essentially like, I can get this for a cheaper cost, only for 1 turn, and then I can cast it later. You'll also see that Landfall is making a return here, which also synergizes really well with the Lander tokens.
What sort of, so we've seen creatures, we've seen enchantments, what are we expecting to see warp on?
You can expect to see warp on basically all card types except lands.
Okay. All permanent types or spells too?
Not spells, mostly permanent types and not planeswalkers.
Okay.
Next
Next up, we have Bygone Colossus.
So this is my favorite warp card in the set.
Mine too.
It was originally called Combo Golem for a very long time.
Yep.
Because that's essentially all it does. So there are so many different ways to use this card. If you'll notice, like a lot of the station numbers are really high. This card just essentially gets you those at a really low cost. You can also use flicker spells from Magic's Past to warp it in and then just flicker it, and then it will come back onto the battlefield and then doesn't have to exile later. There are so many different ways to use this card, and it's super fun to think about. So this one's my favorite for sure.
Yeah, I love how it's just has no obvious
it is baffling on purpose.
Yeah, I do enjoy that.
Ethan, so we were talking a little bit about this beforehand, the few little bits about the Eldrazi here and there. So here we see this in the flavor text as well. The edge is littered with the vestiges of civilizations annihilated by the Eldrazi. For those who haven't been reading the stories, what sort of tidbits are we seeing about the Eldrazi in this?
Well, there are hints that there was some sort of ancient conflict between the Fomori and the Eldrazi, and we've seen a lot of the Eldrazi in the past in various Magic sets. We've seen hints about the Fomori here and there, especially recently. But a lot of it is pretty distant and ambiguous. But we know that it was incredibly destructive, and basically the Eldrazi were driven out of the edge, and everybody has to kind of be alert, pay attention, because if the Eldrazi come back, that needs to be nipped in the bud. We can't let any Eldrazi come back here. So yeah, we've seen an Eldrazi card in the video there, but yeah, there are hints about it here and there. It was clearly an important event in the Edge's history.
All right. Let's move on to our last mechanic that we're going to discuss here, which is Void. So tell us about Void.
Void is less about classic space opera trope stuff than it is specifically inspired by the world building that the world building team did. We all got really excited about the Monoist faction, which is the black faction. They worshipped the sort of black hole-ish object in the center of the Cythera system and have all this like creepy costumes and think that, you know, they want to usher in the time when every molecule in the universe collapses into a singularity. They're like, this is what it's all about. Then we'll all be together again with our dead loved ones or whatever. It's like, great. So super cool. We loved it. And so we made a mechanic that was kind of specially for them. They were clearly like the standout faction. I like the other four factions just fine, but the Monoists were just like so unique and cool. So we made this Void mechanic, which is sort of a variant of Morbid or Revolt, where if one of your permanents leaves the battlefield, a non-land permanent leaves the battlefield, sort of Void is active.
Yeah.
And it also gets activated when you warp a card. So when you pay that warp cost is another way to get your Void online. And basically your cards will have abilities that trigger only if something has left the battlefield or been warped, or will have an upgrade on an instant or sorcery, a kicker-like effect. There's a variety of ways of using it, but it's mostly just a tag to see that things have left. And there's lots of ways to make things leave. You know, we've got warp, we've got the lander tokens. It's all set up for us. So there's a lot of ways to interact with it.
And I don't want to gloss over the part that you said at the top of that, which was non-land. Was that a lesson you all learned from Revolt?
What do you mean by lesson?
Was that an intentional differentiation? How about that?
I think so. Like when we're like creating these environments and things have to feel flavorful, like land leaving the battlefield, especially with like fetch lands in older formats, it does feel kind of cheaty, and it doesn't really feel naturally like Magic. So we intentionally left off land here just to make sure that we can actually give you a bigger reward. So like if we leave land on, then we have to kind of make sure that things aren't as powerful, because we know that it's really easy to skirt that. But if we add non-land, we can make things look more awesome because the hoop you have to jump through is a little bigger.
Makes sense. All right, let's take a look at some Void preview cards. First up, we have Decode Transmissions. So this is the sort of normal, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. You see that in a lot of sets. But then Void says, if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or a spell was cast warp, instead you draw 2 cards and each opponent loses 2 life.
Yeah, so it's the classic, kicker upgrade style of Void card here.
Yep, we'll be seeing that in Limited quite a bit. And then let's see our second Void card, which is Void Forged Titan. So 4 and a black for a robot warrior, 5/4 at the beginning of your end step.
Not going to be able to be played standard-wise because it's too expensive.
You draw a card and you lose 1 life.
Yeah, so this is more of a limited build around. It's going to give value over time if you play into the theme of the Void.
You'll also notice that a lot of the Void triggers happen at the end step. A lot of that is to ensure that you have enough time to warp a creature or post-combat, so things are dying.
Okay. And you mentioned, Ethan, that this was black line. Are all Void cards black? Are there any that seep into other colors?
Yeah, there are a lot of Void cards on red cards as well.
Okay.
It's primarily in red and black.
Primarily black. All right, cool. All right, now we're gonna move into the slightly less structured part of the program where we just show off some cards. These are cool cards. We're showing them off for a reason, for various reasons, but they're not as organized as being about mechanics. So we're just gonna show some cool cards and talk about them. Let's start with Emissary Escort. So Emissary Escort, 1 and a blue for a 0/4 robot soldier, artifact creature.
Interesting.
This creature gets +X/+0, where X is the greatest mana value among other artifacts you control. Tell us about this card.
So with Edge of Eternities and all space operas, we're going to gravitate towards artifacts. So there are going to be a lot of artifact build-arounds in this set. And Emissary Escort is one in a long line of those cards. But as we will see in the next slide...
Let's see it, Bygone Colossus.
Yes, we're finding more and more ways that these cards combo together. One of my favorite things just about Edge of Eternities in general is how well all of the mechanics just kind of mesh and flow together. They all synergize really well together, and we hope that players discover stuff like this and can, figure out how awesome it is.
Yeah, the technology in space opera is so important that it was basically inevitable that we were going to have an artifact theme in this set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like it combos with Bygone Colossus, right? The Escort combos well with your artifact spacecraft because they'll typically have higher mana values, which gives the Escort more power. Works so well with Station.
Yeah.
Right? Just another 1-2 combo.
Well, and I also like, when you start looking at older formats too, cards with affinity work really well with this. Your classic Mirror Enforcer is going to do a 7/4. So yeah, a lot going on here for a seemingly simple card. All right, now let's take a look at an uncommon called Unravel. Unravel is 1 blue and a blue, instant. You probably already know what it's going to do. Counter target spell. If the amount of mana spent to cast that spell was less than its mana value, you draw a card. This is, we see a cancel variant in a lot of sets. Very rarely do we see you draw a card on it.
Right. This is normally space we try to stray away from. Like one of the design heuristics we like to hold to is, it shouldn't be better. You shouldn't be worse off for trying to cast your spell. So designs like Dismiss or whatever we try to stray away from. But with Unravel, we do like to punish kind of the cheating on mana or casting things for less than the casting cost.
If you're not doing something fair, I'm not going to do something fair.
Exactly. So Unravel is our attempt at that. And then in this set, the main thing that it will be countering is warp spells. One of the things we were finding internally is that warp introduces a lot of resources into the game. So we definitely wanted something to punish you for casting your warp spell for its warp cost.
Very cool. All right, next up we have Sunset Saboteur. 1 and a black, human rogue, 4/1 menace, ward, discard a card. And whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 card.
It's competing with that other, the one that comes back from the graveyard. So.
Yeah, so this is a bit of a funky one.
Don't think it sees play.
One of my favorite tropes in the space opera genre is that there's always a traitor. So this is kind of top down a traitor card. So if you see 4/1 menace for 2 mana with ward, discard a card, that's a really, really, really good deal. but we have that line of text at the bottom, which is kind of a downside, or if you are able to manage your opponent's creatures, not a downside at all.
Mm-hmm.
How could black possibly deal with a large creature?
Indeed, yeah. So you'll see in the art too. This is a monoist aligned character, kind of perusing as a white aligned character.
Well, and Turian, we're so used to seeing extended art cards, we kind of blew by the first one we saw. But extended art is a booster fun variant. Can you talk a little bit about what cards got this treatment in the set, and then where you can find those?
Yeah, we've seen a couple of extended art cards here. So in extended art cards, you can find they're in the collector booster, and typically, we try. Upcoming, we're going to be looking at so many fun variants that we've done. We also try to make sure that basically every rare and mythic has at least one variant. Mm-hmm. So we'll typically use extended art in that way, where it's like, oh, here it is. Here's an upgraded version where you can see just a bit more of the art, and it just looks a little extra special.
All right, and are these found just in collector boosters?
Yeah, extended art are in the collector boosters where you'll find them.
Great. All right, let's move on to another card with an extended version. This is Frenzied Baloth. So this is a wild card.
It's question-based.
Green and a green for a 3/2. This spell can't be countered. It's got trample. It's got haste. Other creature spells you control can't be countered. Combat damage can't be prevented. Andrew, this feels like one that came from your world.
Yeah, so as you've properly identified, this is a very play-designed card. But I think it also speaks to a lot of what happens in space opera, where they go to a planet and there's this giant, ferocious monster that causes nothing but havoc and mayhem. And I think all of those lines of text just kind of add up to craziness, wildness, and yeah.
There's a lot of people calling this Questing Beast Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Was that sort of intentional, or did it just sort of end up that way?
To call the Questing Beast ever intentional is a bit of a wild statement.
Nobody sets out to make a Questing Beast.
Well, I mean, don't make me tell you the story of the Questing Beast.
Tell us the story of the Frenzied Baloth.
One day we will tell the story of the Questing Beast. Today is not that day.
It's upstairs. I got it. Anytime you want.
Tell us the story of the Frenzied Baloth, though.
So when we were thinking about which cards we wanted to introduce into Standard, you might see a few mono green, or specifically green aligned cards that we're going to shoot for a mono green aggressive deck. We haven't really seen that a lot in recent years, and this is one of our attempts at a card that you might want to play in a deck like that.
All right. Next up, this one's going to have a different treatment, which is the card is Genomorph Imago.
Yep.
Cool. Green and a blue for a creature insect druid. It's a 1/3. It's got flying. Then it's got this landfall ability. Whenever a land you control enter, target creature has base power and toughness 3/3 until end of turn. If you control 6 or more lands, that creature has base power and toughness 6/6 until end of turn. So let's talk about the card first, then we'll talk about the treatment.
Yeah, so when we were coming up with a lot of landfall designs, we definitely wanted something a little bit more aggressive, because normally landfall designs kind of tend to the slower side. And we've never really made a blue-green aggressive landfall style card, so this is our attempt at it. And one of the other things I really like about this is when you have a lander token out on the battlefield, this can really put a lot of wrenches in your opponent's combat plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fortunately,
easy to attack. This is a 3/3 flyer.
I don't think this is good enough to see.
Okay, Tyrion, let's go to you now. So, borderless triumphant cards. Tell us about these.
Yeah. So Sarah was talking about them some in the debut video we just saw, but we wanted to capture outer space is just filled with these moments in media and visuals, and one thing that really comes clear is this idea of this the hero image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of times it's the astronaut in front of the moon is a typical one that we see. And so, you know, we were inspired by that. And in here, we went and we took a number of our creatures as well as Tezzeret and really put them in this like very hero-esque pose, right? And so they're centered. Typically, it's a moon or a sun, you know, directly behind them, and it just really elevates.
Very much inspired
I think,
by something, but I don't know what
the character and the visual. So that's what we've done here with the borderless triumphant cards.
The last thing I'll say on the mechanics on this card, though, is that it is not just this creature; it is target creature.
Yep.
So if you find a way to get 2 lands enter the battlefield during your turn, you can target a different creature, and this thing can really rack up a lot of damage fast.
Getting 2 lands.
Yeah, and then in terms of where you can find them, they're in play boosters and collector boosters both.
Okay.
So you know they're you'll get them, you know, fairly often.
All
for
right.
rares.
Our next preview card, Singularity Rupture. So 3, a blue, 2 black. It's a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Then any number of target players each mill half their library rounded down.
Wow, this combines 2 very popular cards.
2 very popular cards. So how did this card come to be?
Expert control.
So this card came to be by just thinking about all of the like disasters and crazy things that happen into space. So the idea of this card came from, I was doing a ton of research on what happens in space, and sometimes black holes collide. And I was thinking about what are 2 awesome magic effects that can collide and come together and do something awesome. And here we are.
All right. Very cool.
This seems like a very good commander.
Next up, Sir Vondum the Lucent. So here we have an uncommon legendary human knight, 2 white, a black, and a black for a 4/4. Whenever Sir Vondum enters or attacks,
from
other
Eldrin?
creatures you control get
Or is it just
+1/+0
the way they
to
do
gain
Sir?
death touch until end of turn.
So this is very emblematic of the black-white limited theme, which is a go-wide deck. So Sir Vondum is really good at buffing a lot of your other creatures while also being a reasonable card on his own.
Oh, so is this like the signpost card for white-black?
This will be the signpost card.
Okay. Are the signpost cards all legendary creatures? Are they various things?
There's going to be a mix, but one of the things we've done with Edge of Eternities is you'll see multiple versions of our main characters at one at uncommon and then one at a higher rarity, and it'll show them at different points of their life. Edge of Eternity's story is more kind of self-contained, so there's not as much of a long-term scale here, so we felt like it would be a good idea to show them in multiple stages of their life and just kind of give you more of a taste of who these characters are because they're very contained towards the space setting.
Gotcha. All right. Next up, we have Virulent Silencer. So 3 mana for an artifact creature, Robot Assassin. It's a 2/3. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. This was not on my bingo chart.
Yeah. So one of my favorite cards from actually Neo Kamigawa is the Virus Beetle because to me it's the ultimate combination of a pun of like robots and viruses.
Sure.
And when we're thinking about space viruses, I also immediately think to poison.
Okay.
So this is actually a very
So you're to
doable
blame for
quest
this.
in Limited. I've won with it a couple times. And my favorite thing about this actually is that it can stack. So if you have multiple Virulent Silencers out, one connection will get you 4 poison counters.
It's not whenever one or more. It's one
Yeah,
of
I feel like this is very much at home with like the 1 Sliver card and the 1 Eldrazi
I was going to ask,
card.
is this the only poison counters card?
This is the only poison counter card in the set, yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So challenge accepted to all you poison lovers out there. Next
one of them?
up, we are going. So that's kind of it for the main set preview cards. We do have some bonus sheet cards and some promos to talk through, though, as well as the kind of core 10 basic lands. So there are a number of basic lands in this set because they're awesome and spacey. But these are, Turian, why don't you tell us about these basic lands, where you get them?
The Mickey Mouse Island.
Yeah, so these are, the regular basic lands. We were, during the debut, we saw those beautiful full art versions. Here we have, what you're more typically going to get. So you do get these in play boosters. You also find some of these like when you open up the bundle or the commander deck, right? They're very much, we like to include them in that typical suite of products. They're still so strikingly beautiful. And one of the things I love about basics and going to a new world is you just get this, these amazing artists to do these stunning visuals, and it really just shows off, hey, what does the world look like? What are some of the planets that we're visiting? Basic lands are just the foundation of Magic.
And in general, like lands were an important theme here. We knew that we would have a very distinctive visual for lands, and we would get to kind of show people land art that looked very different from typical land art, because we get the sort of elevated perspective of the curve of the planet. And it's a very different way. And we kind of seen this with Unfinity, right? People got very excited about the lands in Unfinity.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, we gotta tap into some of that.
Yeah. Why, yes, Ethan, lands are very important to this set. In
Good
fact,
transition.
Thank you. We created a whole bonus sheet of lands. So we're going to show off some of those. We saw, obviously, a few of them in the debut video. But first of all, let's talk about how the bonus sheet of lands came to be. Where did that idea originate from?
Isn't that your idea?
So when I think of space, I think of going to a lot of different places and seeing a bunch of awesome things. And when I think of translating that into gameplay, it's definitely with lands. So we added the bonus sheet where you can get all these awesome lands from Magic's history, and then we tied it into the gameplay where you will see a lot of cards in Limited say how many differently named lands you control. So you can have a Limited deck and then have Mutavault. You can have, what are other cards spoiled so far?
We'll stop there just so you don't have to think about it, because we'll show some more.
Great.
Some of the ones that we're about to show. So bonus sheet. So let's talk how these are open, Turian. Where you get these, how often they show up. Like he mentioned, limited. How often are you going to be opening one of these in limited?
Yeah, so you do get the Borderless Stellar Sites lands. They do come in the play booster. We've limited them to only rare and mythics. There's 35 rares and 10 mythic rares that you get. And in the play booster, you get them 1 in 8 packs on average, right? So that means that they will show up. I mean, they're incredibly powerful lands, right? Just both in limited and in so many other Magic formats. So, if you're doing a draft, there'll be a few in the draft, right? And so they add a little bit of surprise and diversity to gameplay, right? And also, too, one of the things I really liked about limiting them to only rare and mythics is when you get one of these, it's just like, you've opened up a winner. I mean, between the treatment and how aesthetically beautiful they are, how powerful they are. So for those Borderless Stellar Sites, they're in the play booster, 1 in 8 packs. Now, and then additionally, you can also find them in collector boosters as well, where collector boosters, you're going to get, there's a few different variations, but when you're opening a collector booster, you'll be finding one of these as well.
All right.
Those are 1 per pack.
So we're going to look at 4 of them today. So the first up is Blinkmoth Nexus. And as you called out, just gorgeous art.
That's a non-token artifact creature.
Yeah, it is a non-token artifact creature. So, Mike, talk a little bit about the difference between the stellar sites and the poster stellar sites.
Yeah, so the Borderless Stellar Sites, when I was just talking about, hey, finding them in the play booster, those are the ones that show up in 1 in 8 play boosters. The Borderless Poster Stellar Sites are then a variant that are a collector booster exclusive, right? And so, we want, as Ethan was talking about, you go to outer space, it's this real opportunity to capture the resonance and bring these, incredibly powerful lands into a new setting. And so we didn't want to just do that one time. We knew that our artists would really be able to create a couple different variations. So those borderless poster stellar sites, collector booster exclusive, you can find them there in foil and non-foil. And then in the borderless stellar sites, also foil and non-foil. But then both of these are also available in galaxy foil as well. So, there's a lot of cool variations here and a lot of just amazing cards, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, speaking of amazing cards, so, I mean, Magic has a lot of cool lands throughout its history. What was the process like for selecting the lands that made it onto this bonus sheet?
So we definitely wanted to have a nice mix of lands that you're going to be super excited for your constructed decks. We also wanted a healthy mix of lands that also play well in limited.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, Blinkmoth Nexus, super fun card to play with in limited just because land and creature, and it works really well with your artifact synergies.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a really good fit for the set. And we'll also see our next card is an excellent fit.
Well, and there were some creative constraints on which lands we could use also,
yes.
right? They needed to make sense within the setting of the edge.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll have names that are very specific and just wouldn't be at home here.
Yeah.
Right, like for example, we couldn't use Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Right, that doesn't exist in space.
That does not exist in space.
But apparently an Eldrazi Temple does.
Yes, Eldrazi Temple, one of my favorite cards. And also just hinting towards the existence of the Eldrazi in the edge is awesome. Ethan did mention there are a lot of lands that flavorfully don't make sense, but this is the one that actually does make a lot of active sense here. So Eldrazi Temple in the set, you can cast your one Eldrazi with it. Good luck.
All right.
Maybe not a limited bomb, this one.
Yeah. Let's take a look at one you already mentioned, which is Mutavault.
Yeah, so for me, I was so glad to see Mutavault return. Right, I got to work on the original set where we introduced Mutavault, and so to me, anytime and it was back then, of course, it was inspired by Mishra's Factory, and so it's just like there's this history of lands and callbacks, and now bringing it forward into outer space in Edge of Eternities is just pretty fun. And this one is another one that's pretty good in limited, right?
Mm-hmm,
that the gaining all creature types ends up being surprisingly.
If you also get a Blinkmoth Nexus,
right? Yeah, exactly. Right. And that's one of the fun things. It's like, will that happen? Will it happen often? No, but will it happen? Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
And it's just this fun little moment and fun interaction.
Yeah. And clarifying for chat's covering this already, but just to say it out loud, these are not legal in standard, correct?
They are not legal in standard, yes. Everything on the Stellar sites is not.
Okay.
Yeah, and we tried to indicate that. If you look, I know in the bottom left of the cards, fairly small, but you see it says EOS down there, right, where the Edge of Eternity cards say EOE. So that was just trying to indicate, hey, these are special cards. They're they're stellar sites. That's what this is for.
Well, we'll stay on that topic a little bit because one of the other ways that we often indicate that is with a different set symbol, but these don't have a set symbol.
Yeah. So as we're going through and looking at them, right, the creative team and the graphic design team wanted to really use this idea of, instead of scale birds, right, birds that show scale, there's these idea of like scale spaceships, right, the scale ships. And you can see one there zooming through the Mutavault.
And they all break the frame, right?
They're breaking the frame. So as we're going and looking at images upcoming, you'll see even more of them. Some of those were basically colliding with that expansion symbol. And so we decided, hey, let's just remove the expansion symbol, which is something that we've done. We did it a little bit in the Final Fantasy set, did a little bit here. And so we wanted to try that out. Now you still can see the rarity, that M in that bottom left is indicating that Mutavault is a mythic card. So there's still some indicators, but it's a little bit more finessed. And also I'll say one thing that made me a little bit more comfortable with doing this and experimenting this way is these cards just are so visually distinct, right?
Yeah.
Like we've moved down the title bar, for instance, itself. And so I'm hoping that distinction will sort of offset a lot of what the expansion symbol typically accomplishes.
We have one final card from the bonus sheet to show off. We've got Thespian's Stage. I love the art on these two.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I mean the art is fantastic, and you can see those. I'm going to call them floating spaceships, right? When I'm talking about that expansion symbol, right? The Thespian Stage has that right where you typically see the expansion symbol, and you can copy so many lands.
Yes, unfortunately, one of the things we tried to do in design was put dark depths onto the bonus sheet, but unfortunately, dark depths creates a token with a name.
A token with a name that is not a creature
Merit
that lives
Lage
in...
No, Merit Lage is not in space,
What?
unfortunately.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did you check out behind every planet?
I checked everywhere.
All right, and then we've referenced the Galaxy Foils. Now, we don't have one of these to show off in Galaxy Foil, but we do just have the short clip from the debut video. You might have missed it, but we had, there it is.
Yeah, and thanks to, I think that Zach Stella is the hand model as well. You can really,
Couldn't have given
the
Zach
Galaxy
Stella
Foil
his own
treatment
guard?
something that
Had to give him Adam
for
Beckett.
players who opened up Infinity Collector boosters, it was debuted there. It was so well received. I mean, getting them in person is just a beautiful treatment. So we've brought Galaxy Foil back as a collector booster exclusive. Here we're showing it on a mountain. I was talking about it on the Stellar Sights cards. Some of the Shocklands, some of those treatments you can find it on as well. So there's a number of places that we've tried to.
Is the Galaxy Foil the same as Infinity, or is it slightly tweaked and updated?
Yeah, it's a little bit updated. I mean, for that you really have to have, I'll say, a pretty keen eye, right, between the two. But we wanted to always capture, hey, this is what's cool and amazing and resonant about the world. And so, of course, the team continued to work and iterate. But for a lot of that really is customized to the card itself, right? The team really works to with the art and the layers of the art to make sure that Galaxy Foil shines through appropriately and doesn't over or underwhelm.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, we've got 3 promos to show off. So these are cards you have already seen, but these are their promo versions. So first of all, the Buy a Box promo is going to be Singularity Rupture. There's the Buy a Box version of that.
It's just an extended art. Oh no, it's a different art.
So you buy a box and then you use it to destroy all
the creatures that came in the box and mill the cards that came in the box.
It's any number of targets.
Right, you take like half the packs and flip them over.
Buy a box, check with your local game store for availability, but generally speaking, if you buy a box, you get one of these at participating local WPN stores. Next up, we have the bundle promo. So this is the Emissary Escort. So that robot soldier we were talking about, this one will come inside the bundle.
Yeah, in here you can see we give this an alternate art, right? And so it's just another way to capture a card that's probably going to be impactful, in maybe in standard, certainly in limited, but maybe in some older formats like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Right, it definitely has that possibility.
All right. And then finally, we're only showing off one. So for every set, we do promo pack cards, which are generally uncommons. They come in these small promo packs that you can get at your local game store for playing in events, doing well at events, kind of whatever the store wants to do. Normally, we show off all of them at the same time, but we're kind of dishing them out a little bit one at a time here. So we're going to show off one of the promo pack cards, which is that Starfield Shepherd we saw earlier.
This is one of my favorite cards in Limited, too.
Yeah.
Super fun.
Yeah, good value on the warp, and then does the thing when it comes back later, too.
Yeah, it's nice and limited that you can basically, if nothing else, you get a land.
Right.
But if you have something to go and fetch, great.
Yeah.
I'm putting this in one of my commander decks for sure. My angel deck, it wants this. Not a lot of creature cards with mana value 1, but there are some.
The 1-mana angel, Segovian angel. There you go.
Yeah. Perfect.
All right, that is everything we have for today. Thank you for joining us for both the debut and the after show. Previews for Edge of Eternities are going to be ongoing this week and next week. If you want to know when and where those previews are coming out, the easiest way to do that is to head to dailymtg.com, and there is an article called Where to Find Edge of Eternities Previews. You can also just Google that, and that article will show up. That's why we named it that way. But these previews are going to be going on until next week on Friday, when the full card image gallery will be up. Next week, we will be back here. We're going to have Sarah Wassel on the show. She is going to talk about some of the prettiest cards in the set. We're going to talk about that bonus sheet. We're going to talk about various alternate versions of cards and all the bonus cards.
Howdy, how's it going?
Pretty
Welcome
cards.
to the stream,
So,
Blaze.
come back next
Beast.
week, and we'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. That is everything for this. We're going to go ahead and see here. We're going to close down the screen capture and move ourselves on over. Hello, Tornado Hunters. How are you doing today? Move ourselves back over to Honkai Star Rail. Change up the stream title. Twitch category. And there we go. Let's hope that this is properly framed, but I'm going to guess not. If it's not, we can fix that. Better than I thought it was going to be. Why are we running a patch? Why was there a patch? Switch needs to be fixed. Extend this. Nope. That messes with that. Alpha Reina, thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? What were you playing? We just moved over from Magic the Gathering. Currently fixing up the chat and the stream for TikTok. We are live there as well. Unfortunately, Mary Smith, everything that we do is, in fact, done in-house, so we're not looking for any external help right now. But I thank you for the offer. Thank you for the raid! What were you playing? Hello, young man. Gossip? For me? Sure. Shadow Kaizo, thank you for the follow. I think I missed someone else as well. Hold on. Let's make sure we get everybody. Eve Petrichor, Alpha Reina, Viscount, Shadow Kaizo. Thank you all for the follows. I'm greatly appreciative. Cult of the Lamb. Interesting, interesting. Alright. Delicious food to tempt a master into teaching them monster arts. There's a twist, but I didn't agree yet. What live gossip is this? Two swords whispering to each other, loudly. Well, happy birthday, Reyna. Thanks for rating me on such an occasion. The short sword is saying its master is a witty girl with amazing culinary skills. Finley, you type a lot. Go on. Is there success in learning? Okay. You just caught us at the transfer point. We were watching the Edge of Eternity's Magic the Gathering premiere stream as of like 3 minutes ago, and just moved over to Star Rail to maybe do some endgame content when Yunli decided to say hi. We go ahead and... there we go. We have that. Bird Flash Police. Let's see here. We are saving pulls to put into the Cypher banner. Or not Cypher, sorry. We're putting into the, oh, what's the name? Archer banner. AKA the Saber banner at this point. But, in honor of the raid, we could do, what do you guys say? You want to do 5 pulls? See if we get some luck? In honor of the raid and in honor of the birthday? Let's see, how are we doing? We're fairly fresh into pity. I will say that much. Okay, alright. So yeah, we're about 20 into pity. So this will put us at 25. And you know what, we'll let... Reyna, if you're still here, you can decide. Where do we put those 5 wishes? They have to be on anything but the standard banner, just because they're only for this. So we got light cone banners, we've got Sunday, we've got Tribby, and we've got Sparkle, and obviously Binary. I'll give it a second for the stream to catch up with the live chat.
Let me stay here a little longer.
Cheer up! Remember to bring more next time!
Sure thing, boss. See you, Cloggy. Alright. Well, while we're waiting on that, we can continue with the rest of fun that we're having today, which involves our good friends, the Herta Space Station. Yes, we are friends with the ship itself, not the people inside. Alright, Herta. You never get me to come in here, but... Golden Gears. Conundrum level 12. I think yeah, oh wait, I've already cleared all this, so... We just need to do this for rewards. So that being said, what are we looking for here? Okay. So we need Supreme Organic Mental Spices or Universe's Throne. So, beginning International Peace. Which one do we need here? Okay. Sure. And for once, we don't actually need Auxiliary Conundrum. Alright. Let's do the hunt. We're going with this team. We could go with this team. No. We go Firefly. You know what? We'll go with this team for now. Ruin May allows us to be able to do some things. Sankula, welcome. Welcome back. Walker Symbiosis, so we can try to do the Ruin May cheat system. Alright. So we need 0 to 40, negative 40, and negative 31. So we need negative 40, negative 31. When going into the third or second plane. Find knowledge, 2 random domains. So we got that, which is good. Let's get a blessing.
Take a look. This is pure genius.
Fight. Have to fight this. Hello. See ya. Let's save those for the actual battles that matter. Device. Let's cheat. Oh, never mind. This is not the correct one, so sure. We'll go down here. Can't cheat with this current version. Hello. Take all 3. Sure. I'll take that. Missions changed. 3 little things. If I do this, I'm pretty sure it just will always clear it for me. Bye. Take that, trotters. Take the most expensive ones. We can keep it. Let's try to keep things down. What we do want to happen is we want to be around that range. Put this here. And when we will, yeah. 3 reroll attempts. Good. Add 1 more occurrence. Really, we're getting cheat code already. No risk. And trigger 10 random effects in a row. Okay, that'll work out pretty well. Okay. It doesn't change anything. We're going to do cognition. Decrease the cognition by 20. Try to put ourselves as close as possible. Doctor ratio. Thanks, Doc. Thanks, Doc. Alright, sure. Boss number 1. Lightning. Oh, combo weakness. Yes, please.
Sound take a look.
Hello.
Eternal. Danger approaches. Darkness with me.
Dragon!
Meet up, protect us!
Boom!
Elegant. Guide the Rainbow Bridge. Please cherish as you wish. Some value, I suppose. Curious endless. Nothing but a fall. Nameless, faint light.
And they're all dead. just how it be sometimes. Sure. 1 to 3 random. Yay! Hang out with Dwayne. Dwayne the Rock. Alright, second plane. We're just gonna go straight down the middle. I heard it. What you got? Give me a curio. Okay. Straight down the middle. Well, maybe not straight down the middle, but close enough. IPC banking. Sure. Where's the... Oh, it's right behind.
A note from your cocoon.
Sure. We're gonna go... Intracognition. We need to go down. Ooh, double effect. We'll take that. There should be one more. There it is. We want it to be lower. Let's take ratios off her. Okay. Sure. Doesn't really matter because we're just doing this, but we need it to be. This is where we want it to be, right? No, we want it to be slightly further down. But I think we have that opportunity. Where's the other thing? There. Let's exchange gifts. Yeah, how we doing, chat? Alright, thank you again for the raid, Alpha Reina. If I ever catch you live when I'm live normally, which is around 9 to 1 EST, I'll make sure to repay the favor with a raid. But yeah, thank you very much for the raid, and have a good evening. Discard 1 curio and get 2 curios. Alright. Communing device. Knowledge to 1 random adjacent domain. So we're gonna go here. That'll get us to our intercognition point. Cheat code. No risk. Need to remember that that's right behind it. Liquid domain with a beacon and immediately swap its beacon into a different type of beacon, then receive 1 random blessing. Sure. Let's do this one. New resonance interplay. Start here. Get us to our where we want to be. Three reroll attempts. You get a pick of the 3.
Take a look. This is pure genius in action.
You get the most rewards from this. Like so. Okay. Don't really want to change any of these, so I guess I'll change that one. Level up this one, go here. It's fine. Eastward. Spirit battle.
Oh.
Hunt.
The warmth of life. Embrace a new life. Return to dust.
Get him!
May death protect us.
I'll take the audio dispenser, sure. Communing device. One effects. Kindling of the Self-Annihilator. Refuse. I want another. Sure. Sure. Utility destruction. Didn't I blank out both of these? Alright, fine, Julia.
Is that it? I'm witness something. Sounds
Hi, Julia.
All will be swept away by the wind. Darkness, lead me. May death protect us!
Tremble before my power. Freeze to death.
Don't be rash. Now or never.
This will be your very day. The eternal freeze will bury you.
Embrace a new life. Return to dust.
Survive being in control. And it will definitely survive you.
May death protect us! Expand your thinking. Formation!
You are doomed to fail.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but there is an achievement to kill.
Guide with the Rainbow Bridge. Life is not so fragile. Okay, some value, I suppose. Future is
We get the achievement.
I don't have time for games.
Witness the avalanche.
Yeah. Fine.
Now or never.
Judgment of eternal winter.
Still
wait, I had charge up. What did I do? Why did I do that? I can kill her, I don't know why I did.
Danger approaches. All will be swept away by the wind.
I wanted to try to go for that achievement that killed Folio without killing Rocket. Alright, so you're here. We're gonna hit you both.
May death protect us!
Tremble before my power. Freeze to
We're
death.
gonna do the way we attack.
Okay.
We're gonna try for it where I actually base it.
Formation!
The eternal freeze will bury you.
Yep.
There's more to life.
We're gonna do that. I'm just gonna hit you.
Embrace a new life. Return to dust.
So much damage. Anya is holding on for dear life. Well, I died. What does that mean?
Embrace a new life. Darkness with me. Let me bestow upon you despair. Helpless as ever. Open sesame. Curiosity endless. Nothing but a thought. Never seen perfection before. Enjoy yourself. Eternal. Every petal and gold will be swept away by the wind. So this is the world of life. Embrace a new life.
Thank you. Silver point of Discord. Receive everything. So what's been granted? Commuting device. Alright, final plane. Nice rule them. I heard that. How much am I working with? Not real. I mean, I've got a ton, but I guess we'll take the free Eidolon, and that's it. I don't think I need anything from you scrolling, unless you've got like one of the 5-star hunt options. Sure. Don't think I really need anything else. Help me? Any last second Ruin May stuff happening? Tavern. One blessing is
Oh.
Hello.
The future is great. Embrace a new life.
Hello. Goodbye.
May death protect us.
Have any beacons, so I guess I'll take the 20,000 fragments. Respite. Last second cool curios or something. See, I'm not that interested in any of this. I guess I'll take this because it's nice for... Oh, this is just upgrading what I already have. We'll end it in 8 and 8,000 just because that's fun stuff. Yep. Yeah, let's just do the bug. The bug's annoying, but
Be careful. There's something unsettling.
Okay, there's a lot of things upset.
Take a look.
Hello!
Eternal. Return to dust.
You may be big, bug, but I'm bigger. Or more accurately, the giant dragon.
May death protect us. Embrace a new life. Darkness with me.
Phase 2. Summon your friend.
All will be swept away by the wind. May death protect us.
after this with another knock.
Nothing but a
put out the more damage I do.
Open sesame. What's
Pollux has had enough.
May death protect us!
Fuck you, go boom. That was new, right? We did the... Oh, yeah, Tears of Souls. I forget we get that from this. Let's make sure. Did I... Okay, I did. I don't know what that was. So we have... 6 secrets left? Yes, 6 secrets left. The way that I've done before. It's not this. It's erudition. No. Is it? Oh, is it elation? Is that it? No, it's not elation. It has to be the hunt. Someone that I'm thinking of. It's not hunt. Oh, was it? What's this? This. Observation. I've done it before. Is this it? Oh no, I just changed up the dice. That's the thing. It is the hunt. I just need to change the dice back to what they were before. Custom dice. Edit die faces. Filter. Get rid of everything. That's not helpful. That. Do it individually. That. Keep that. We don't care about this. That. Anything copy left? Perception? Is there anything left with copying? Knowledge. What's left I can find knowledge? Alright, everybody. Just a moment. I'll be right back. Hello, Scorpaki. Yes, there was the Reina raid. Incredibly grateful for it. I have returned. Let's see. Back in we go. So we need... Technically works. Combat domain. Give me a curio. Only care about you.
Life is not so fragile. All will be swept away by the wind. Endless. Nothing but a force.
Alright. Oh. There we go. Sorry about that. We don't care about a speed reset. This is a team that does not want to go above a certain speed threshold. So one domain, turn one. Okay, I want to cheat. Beat this. Give it so we can get another one going. They really like putting me on this for some reason right now. Don't be cheap. Bounty Hunter, that gets it off the board. $200,000 fragments. One domain. Sure. More roundabout way of doing it. Still do this. Darn it. Let's get rid of things that aren't free. Get you good self-control. Sure. Not helpful. Reaching to the sugar, bottoms up. Those. current domain to one random location. If we go through this. Hello, bug.
Take her now. Enough of your cocoon.
Goodbye, bug. And that's the opportunity. Because if there's one thing you're good at, it's causing problems. Like copy. Oh, okay. Select one domain. Sure. But I didn't get the knowledge effect. Let's get rid of Beast War.
Sound. Take her now.
Damn, he's been massively. Why did I get that first? No idea. Yes, a cheat attempt. Click domain. Okay. Yep. We'll take it. Capratio, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing today? Guess we'll go here. Alright, cheat code. No risk. Oh, I should. That's right. It was a pick, not a double. Kendo, eh? Fine. No, I wanted that. Man, that doesn't look right. Quantum weakness, please. Let's play good for what I'm doing.
Be careful. Something unsettling ahead. Existence is limited. All will be swept away by the wind. Embrace a new life.
And Casper Spirit.
Darkness with me. May death protect us.
Okay. Healing is good. What areas do I have? You know what? I'm fine with this. Going. Lose these. Okay. Not great, but okay. You need to make sure we do the intracognition stuff. No, my international big lotto. Give me a curio. Oh, that'll just come back to life again. Reroll. Reroll. It's fine. Transaction domain. chance you have that hunt one that I lost? No. Reroll. Okay. No. Do a couple intercognition ones. That's my only way of getting it at this point. Organic heart, sure. Here. What? Oh, I see now.
Be careful. There's something. Sound wind. Take a look. Emerge from your cocoon.
Trotter is suddenly
Eternal. Danger approaches. Return to dust.
Hello. Goodbye.
May death project us.
Boom.
Grace and elegance. The future is great. The leader was impressive. Live here. This is what love. Embrace a new
Let's not
life.
give an opportunity to get shield back just in case.
Darkness with me.
It's been fun. Look at that. Great. Sure. That's nice at least. Come on, ruin me. Make a wish. Sure. Critical boost. Let's do this. This management is important. We got 2 cheat attempts. Let's do this. Okay. We're going to do intercognition so we can continue with actually trying to get these secrets. If I need to cheat it so I can get the correct thing, I can. Let's put ourselves right in the middle. Cheat chance. Now we want the cheat chances. Alright, cheat. 2 random locations on the current plane. Going this one. If I go this way, I get 3. If I go this way, I get... Cheat code statue can't statue. Virtual shield. Probably the current domain to 1 random location, sure. That's double, double, double. Okay, so we'll do double, double. Levels up. That's fine. We expect that. It's going to make it a lot easier for us. Periodic theme card.
Oh. Eternal. Future is embrace a new life. Open sesame. Return to dust.
By the boom.
May death project us. Open up. Impressive. This is worth learning.
code. Bane of my existence. Sure. This one. Your Cowboys inside. Okay, use and take 100. Birdo will cover you just in case this is an unavoidable fight. Sure. I'll practice just to get some. Having the current domain to one random location. Sure. Yeah, I had a 50-50 chance of working out, so. Next time in, we should be able to get one man since we haven't got it yet. Kindling. Just take 100. Plasma fragments. Cheat code again. Nice. Just work with that. Hunt destruction. You're gonna be the best for us, I guess.
Is that it? I was expecting something big.
Let's go, dear. The associates would like a word.
May death protect us! Return. All will be swept away by the wind.
Give up whatever the opportunity is fine.
Embrace
yeah,
the new
I think we're gonna get there.
Darkness with me.
Now, buddies. Damage!
May death protect us! Embrace a new life.
And it's go.
Return to dust.
More damage.
May death protect us!
Phase 2. Ika.
Embrace a new life. Endless winner. Nothing but a boy. Endless winner. Nothing but a boy. Open sesame. What a cloak. Darkness with me.
Finish it. All up. Down goes the deer. I remember when that deer was so annoying. Okay, action forward. Now we finally get the hunt and resonance. Grab that. Okay. Now we're good. Did that double, so that's good. You're gonna be cheat code, aren't you? Yep, that's why we need doubles. We have to force it to show up. Because the cheat code will always spawn. Cheat. Alright, we need the double one. Nice. This should give us both. Right before we go in. Everyone May? Not yet. What's that? No cheat code. Oh, Insect Nest and Unending Darkness. We'll get rid of both of these. Stop the entrance. Unending Darkness. Fight. Alright. There's one Ruan Mei. As for the reason that we have Ruan Mei in the party, there's a special owner action. Puppet. And you are Ruan Mei. Enhance all blessings, gain 10 random curios and 10 cheat chances. And we still should be good to get Ruan Mei 1 as well. Okay, pretty good. Sure. We get Ruan Mei 1? Yeah. And of course cheat. Hi. You know what? Now I don't care. Already got everything now. Ruan Mei. Who are you? Both of you like to play your little tricks. You are Ruan Mei? All blessings of abundance and 2,000 cosmic fragments. Nice. Which means we got a bunch of damage coming through. That. And I got a ton of... Okay, yeah, we're doing the bug. Argenti, sorry. You're just annoying to fight.
Be careful. There's something unsettling ahead. Danger approaches. Return to dust! May death protect us! Enjoying yourself?
Okay, get ready.
Leave this. Embrace a new life. Darkness with me.
There's no question.
Return to dust. Leave this. May death protect us! Embrace a new life.
Bye. Avoid. We didn't. Okay. That was my own bad. Pay enough attention to the intracognition. One in the herder shop right now. Okay. We do, however, have this. We have, what, 2 days left to save? 2 days, 21 hours. Sure. Hey, Yukon. Actually, I forgot you're on this band, aren't you? Not really expecting anything, nor am I really Only silence remains. Cornucopia. one additional wish, and Sarah. Cool. Don't believe we have any of these. We do not. How's Battle Pass going? Get it up to like here, but that doesn't do much. 8. Hail. Oh, Multiverse Vistas. We do have some stuff we can do, so we have 263. So let's see. Sunday, we're still working. Oh yeah, let me give you Kong that. Con. Where are you at? E5. Alright.
The heavens are vast. The kite flies where it wishes.
Sunday, how are we doing on you? 40 over 105, blank cone, yeah. Traces. Sure. Just because I want to see Sunday in action again. Even though he's not the best on this particular
Somehow all will be swept away by the wind. All will be swept away by the wind.
I remember when you were the star on the Firefly team. Right. I miss those days.
Eternal. First in action!
Nice on your path!
All will be swept away by the wind. Everything in this world
Give me the old Sunday.
is bleeding.
Nice on your path!
Existence is unique.
Still not really close on anything, but we're trying.
On your path.
All will be swept away by the wind.
Be able to at least get one thing leveled. Oh right, I forget that I still have that effect because I never used it. What was the recommendation? Ultimate first, right? Oh wait, I already did ultimate. Skill then. Material synthesis uses this. That's it, and this we can get to 9. Don't think we can just the rest of the way there. Yeah, it would take most of what's left of my Tears of Dreams. Actually, I forget. How do we get these? This is only on the Battle Pass, right? Yeah, Nameless Honor. You know what? It's worth it. We'll be getting some soon anyway, at least 72, so. Alright. So that's double crown on him. We've got about, let's see here, 30 minutes left in the stream. Tomorrow's stream will be actually happening in about 11 hours. Early in the morning for me, but that is because we are going to have Phoenix joining us once again. An absolute pleasure to be able to get Phoenix back on the stream. We'll either be going over the new Edge of Eternity's cards, looking at it from a Commander and other formats perspective, for the stuff that's gotten spoiled and the stuff that will be spoiled throughout the rest of the day. And maybe we'll be doing some Star Rail as well. I don't know if Phoenix has done, and actually I'm going to check that, Apocalyptic Shadow, which did recently reset. That is Sphinx Reef.
Are you prepared to gaze upon the visage of the
oh right, you can't see friends lineups for Apocalyptic Shadow. Anything I'm missing from here? No, I already got all this. Probably should get this one of these at some point, but it's fun to have all those stored up. No boss. Nice. you're telling me about this limited time stuff. At this point, I've already gotten long. By the birds. Where are the birds? Oh my god.
One day, we'll all wake up from this.
Kind of. Yep. Watchmaker, I think, is more apt to turn. From the academic is right over here, I think. Sometimes I like to throw random things back here. I think anything's here, though. Darcy?
Just like poetry.
Guess what? You're happy now.
Don't ask where I'm from.
Hey, Jesse. Call me more. Let's see food. Ew. That's interesting.
Let's see how you handle a stroke of genius like this.
I knew you couldn't hold your liquor.
No! At this rate, the family will be done for! Done for!
That guy's dead. Low melon. You farm in a dream? You're happy.
I remember when this place was open, so this is the
City Vagrant. Like this. Make a nice example of this billboard. Ah. Anything interesting over there?
Let's have a toast to dreamscapes.
Alright. Do have one dream ticker over here. Might as well do that real quick. Finish off this area. Other way. Let's do it. I ended up in the wrong area, didn't I? Yep. Well, that's unfortunate. Rooftop. There we go. Oh. Let's go. You were the cursed screen designer. You're forcefully happy, huh?
Ensuring that the name Hanunu is etched into everyone.
What am I supposed to do with it? Apparently it doesn't do anything. Hello. Bye. Hello, Dream Ticker. You're not wrong, but... Oh gosh. Okay. Obviously that's the first thing I have to do. There. Oh, what I was trying to do, we'll take it. Where do I have to connect to that? This might be the only way. There we go. Less difficult than I thought it was going to be. Awaken!
Inspection complete.
I can't remember where that other eerie building block place was. There's one on the ship. It's in the dreamscape. This is where I'm going to try to struggle to remember exactly where this was. It was in the underground area. in the lobby. Something like that. Only goes up. Let's see. Here? Wait a minute. Oh, Dream Ticker Supervisor. Or I could just look for the thing on the map. There's that too. Which way? This way. We should have 5 by now. There we go. 5. That fix you, or we need 5 more? So there's clearly more of those around somewhere. So we can find them. Okay, we got a few at Paperfold University. We need 4.
Let me stay here a little longer
Hello.
in this body.
Choices. Let's see, fix yourself. Nice. Oh, but I didn't get the eerie thing, or maybe I was never gonna get it. Technically, this came out later, so it is possible that you're never supposed to get eerie building blocks, but I guess we'll see when we do this. Not Rogan? Is it too much trouble? A little different than before. What? Oh. Let's see. Now I have to. So I'm guessing that none of these guys give me a eerie building block. Since so far I've done 2 and both of them haven't given. Neither of them have given me.
You're still trying to make a profit?
Hi, Chad. Some reward. You choose difficulties? Alright. Let's be difficult. Oh gosh. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Okay, that was a lot less difficult than I thought it was. Oh, yeah. Okay. I need to get over there. To get over there, I mean... That's the ultimate problem, isn't it? Oh, I can connect it through here. That has to be there so I can get through. That's not helpful. Get that doing stuff, but it doesn't help me. It has to be something like this. See how I connect this if I do it this way. If I do it any other way but this way. I can get that to there, but then that doesn't do anything. Huh. That has to be there. That's the only way. I can do anything. But then I can't. Stuff. Normal difficulty. Oh, that's a lot more manageable. This needs to be further up, so I can do that. There we go. But I have figured that out, yes. Did I want to spend a lot of time trying to figure it out? Not so much. Cool. Oh, is there gonna be... It might just be where this thing is. None of them give me area building blocks anyway, so that's good to know. Any... Let's just figure out where they are. There shouldn't be any in the areas where I've already been, right? Detective, yeah, so none here. Not what I was trying to do. Check inside these rooms. Nothing here. Anything in here? Any dream tickers? No. Dreamscape Reverie. Nope. Let's start with areas that I don't have everything in. Studios Theme Park. Shouldn't be any. Okay. Here there might be a few. Alright, we got one dream ticker right there. Where are you? There's one of those. Oh, you're down there. With you in a moment. Come here. You're a Hana hunter. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that would complicate things. See that. So that has to be there. Did that completely on accident, not gonna lie. No, I just had to get you back over there. Okay. How does that not count? It's because the corner is just clipping, really? Really? We're getting punished over a corner clip? Well, that has to be there, so... The only way I'm getting the bridge over. Something with this. Not the only way I'm getting the bridge over. Give me your eerie building block.
No danger detected.
Thank you.
But never let your guard down.
Back. That was this one here. Got a dream ticker in here. Hello, dream ticker. This one was easy. Doubt they're all gonna be that easy though. Never mind, they were all that easy. Awaken! That's not what I clicked. Awaken!
Inspection complete. Nothing suspicious.
My guess is there must be one of these in every one. So that's that entire one. One more ticker in here. As I expected. Hey there. So you are a ticker. Start by how I can connect these. So that needs to be there. I figure out a way. Okay. Do that. So Clocky can run from here to here to here to here to here. The problem is the bridging. That is accomplished by this. If I don't have that there, I can't get it to move. There's that. That doesn't do anything. There we go. It shouldn't require too much, right? Just a... Oops. So it's clipping out no matter what I do. You still have to be there so I can get off. There's some way I'm not thinking of getting off here, which I don't think it is. Once again, not being helpful. Let's see how we get this connected to this. So I can move this, but this doesn't show up in the mirror, even though it's the same thing. That's not... What's the point of the mirror then? Because then if that was there, I could just do that, and it would be connected. Why can you not turn this way? It's because... This should show up here. That's the thing that's throwing me off. Is that why is it the only block that doesn't show up? Can't put you further back here. No. Okay. Where's this? Oh, you only rotate clockwise. Hold on. Does that change anything? Let's move you. Mary! Thanks for the follow. Aha! Okay. How do I get you back? I don't think that's quite like that. That works, that doesn't go far enough. Wait, can I get that one block? One? It's a can't get it there, because it's just a block short. Okay, I suppose. Awaken! Next one. Oh, wait a minute. I guess already. Oh, well, there's nothing here. And nothing here. Any dream tickers in here? No. Clock hand? Shouldn't be in clock hand. We already know Paperfold University didn't give any. I don't think I have 5 yet. I should only have like 3 or 4. There's gotta be a couple more around here somewhere. Nothing in there. Nothing in there. Nothing here. Oh, I need to make sure I click on all the areas. That makes sense. Still nothing there. Now let's do that with all of them. There are a couple of areas, it looks like, accessible as of yet. Nothing there. Nothing there. Let me just check my inventory to make sure I'm not going crazy. I already have 5. Where are those? Eerie building blocks. One. Where would the last one be? There's a locked door. What's that locked door? I can figure out. Maybe there's something behind it. Ignore me. Door's right over there. Yeah, I'm betting there's stuff over there. How do I get this door? How do I open you? Aha. My guess is it has something to do with that. Make it out of dream module mode. So we got a puzzle up there for sure. What opens this door? What other way is there to get on this platform? I'm trying to think what I could think of. No conceivable way to get on this platform. None in the slightest. Back to you. There's a module over there. What if I move this and rotate it, and if I can find a way to get over there and move that module, maybe that would do something? So if I teleport from here, for a second. What's that other module? What if I move this? What is that? This does something? It just connects that again. Gadgets. You. Ability of time. That's not cool. Alright, well, that is time and stream. We will return to try to figure out how in the world to get to the store in the next one. Or if not, the one that's tomorrow, the day after, depending on how the collab stream goes. Let me see who I can send y'all over to on Twitch. Thanks again to all the Blazing Flame Studio partners. Also, Multiverse Vistas is live. I have 47 videos in the competition. If you like my videos over the past several weeks, months even, feel free to look it up there. Big thanks to Voila, the Romance Media Festival, among others. And until next time, this is Blaze of Blazing Flame Studio signing off. Let's see who we can send the raid. We're at Star Rail. Who is the YouTuber? I'll send you over to Urusai. And alright. Okay, Urusai won't let me rate. Very well. I feel like even if it's with very little viewers, you should allow people to raid just for the sake of, you know, why wouldn't they? Or why wouldn't you allow it? Viewers are viewers no matter where they're coming from. Okay, who else? Sure. We'll send you to Faye Astria, who's also playing Star Realm and is also an English VTuber. Or at least I will attempt to do so. There we go. Alright. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. And this is Blaze of Blazing Flame Studios signing off. You can have a great rest of your evening.